Yeah, how's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Solomon again, back with another video. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and welcome to the channel. Basically, I'm in a festive mood and I'm ready for my cooking. Like those of you that wants to come and cook, you want to come and cook, right? Of course, you're free to cook. You get out there. Let's talk about how this season spanned out. So the 2025-2026 season is done, and here is our review. So don't forget, it's a calling show. You definitely can actually come up on and have your say. So don't forget to hit the like button on your way in, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section. So we are actually going to be reviewing, and we are going to be looking at how the whole season panned out for each and every of our club. So basically, I'm going to be genuine in my own review of this season. I'm going to be very, very genuine because I believe that this season, the way it has panned out, I'm happy with my season so far, even though I'm still getting trolled by Chelsea fan who probably did not finish the season well. I don't know, even they themselves acknowledge that they didn't finish the season well, but they are still trolling. So whichever way, I really do not care. I will just give my honest opinion concerning this season. So big up everybody that's watching. Smash the like on the video. Don't forget, calling in is available on the channel. Just join go to the comment section. There is a comment pinned down. Let me go and pin the comment. Let me try to pin the comment. Let me see if I can pin the comment so that you can actually call in and let's analyze how the season has gone so far. So once again, don't forget, it is very, very important for us to do that. So come on and let me know what you think. So basically, Arsenal, we won the Premier League, as you all know. Like you all know, we won the Premier League. So I don't think I have anything to worry about at the moment. I don't think I have any issues to worry at the moment. But still, it's not the best season. We lost the Champions League, and we lost the Champions League, but still, I think it's still a good season for us so far. And whichever way, I think people are trying to get on. I don't know what is wrong with I don't know what is wrong with the whole comment thing. I think the comment thing just disappeared. I don't know, but let me see if I can. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can. If I know why that is happening. Okay, I think I know why now. Basically, sorry. Yeah, it should be back now. The comment session should be back. I'm sorry about that. I think I kind of messed up my settings over there, but overall, that is what we have there. So I think the comment is open now, and I'm going to have to notify people. Let me just go ahead and notify people before we go into. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So overall, that's how our season has been, and we expect ourselves to. If I'm supposed to rate our season, what our season looks like, personally, if I'm supposed to look at how our season, look like, I will probably give this season. I don't know if I'm supposed to rate this season. I will rate this season as an 8. Is it 8? Yes, I will rate it as 8 because basically, considering the fact that what we have been through as a club, for me, I personally think. It's been, I don't know how to put it, but it's been an unprecedented season. Why? Because I don't know, people want us to be sad maybe because we did not win the Champions League, but I came out of that Champions League game. Yeah, I'm gutted that we did not win. But on the other hand, I kind of am okay I feel okay with the season because I feel we have done well. I don't know why. I don't know when it's me, but as an Arsenal fan, I came into that game believing, we came out of that game. Yes, I'm pissed, but on the other hand, I think I'm glad of how my season has gone so far. So basically, yeah, I think I have it pinned now on the scene. You can actually come on the show anytime. You can always come on the show. The calling link is on the show, now pinned in the comment section. So now quickly, we finished the league as top of the league as usual. We won the league and we lost in the final of the Champions League. We also lost out in the Carabao Cup final against City. We got knocked out in the quarter final or semi-finals of the FA Cup. I think for me that is an 8/10 for me, and I don't know. We're getting trolled by rival fans at the moment, but I care less because that's just what football is. Everybody just looks for a way, to troll you. Everybody will come in to show you at all times when you're. But let me just look at, for me, let me just do that without assessing. Let me just assess the final for me. For me, I think the final started the best way it could have started for us, with Kayava getting the goal, even though it was a very lucky goal but he actually had to do a lot to get the goal done, get the goal in. But he started with the PSG tried to clear the ball fell to Havertz. Havertz did well with the ball, gave it a good finish. It was a very nice finish from Kai Havertz, and I thought it was going to be. And to be honest, we actually made the best attacking whatever that is called in the world right now. We actually reduced them to like little or nothing. They weren't able to create much, and as game we continue in that game, and I was not seeing any way that PSG was going to score, except we had a foul or a penalty or something like that. And that was what happened in the second half. We got Mosquera conceding that penalty, and then Dembele slid the penalty away. We tried to somehow, after PSG got some players injured, they took out some players, and the rest of them they move on. But we were not able to capitalize. But still, and the game went on to penalties, and we lost on penalties. And I've seen people show us that, okay, yeah, we put out a shit show, and we were parking the bus, and we spent, in fact, I even got a message you sent me that very, very recent in the group chat now, that's telling me that, we spent 1 billion, and then we still went ahead and we are defending. Now, let me tell you something. Going into this game, if you don't understand, our strength was definitely our defense. And we knew, everybody knew. It had nothing to do with what we were doing or with how we were. What was most important and what was very, very good and what was very, very reasonable for us was that we knew that the best we had was to defend in that game. And definitely, we went into the game, and it was a game of defense against attack. Yeah, we had 27% with the ball, but the game ended 1-1. PSG were not. It was not as if they were preparing our goal. They didn't get a shot on target. They didn't get 8 shots all through. In fact, the last time I checked, my goalkeeper did not actually, make any important save in that game apart from the penalty. He didn't even get any save in the game apart from the penalty. The penalty was the only opportunity that came up to PSG, and they got, the penalty, and where deserved was a penalty. I don't even want to talk about, the shenanigans of everything that went on, talking about the penalty calls, the foul, the corner not being taken. Look, for me, that final was turned out the way I expected it to be. All I felt is that I was gutted that we didn't win, but one way or the other, we were the final. But what are my own, the things I actually picked from that, from this final? Now, one thing I picked from this final, number one thing that I noticed was that I felt Arteta was not prepared for the penalty of a thing. Yes, I feel he wasn't prepared for the penalty of a thing, because if he was, I felt like the way he started the game believing that the game was going to end in regular time. If the game was going to penalties, you knew Arteta had most of all our good penalty takers, on the bench. They were not even, they have been pulled and taken to the bench. Apart from that fact, going into that particular penalty shootout, if there was anybody that was, going to, probably do anything at all, or probably, how would I even call it? If there was anyone who was supposed to create any score a penalty in that game, it's definitely going to be the likes of Gyökeres, who came in from the bench. Yes, that was a good one. But Bukayo Saka is supposed to be on the pitch. If you were expecting the penalty. Also, not just that, this person also was supposed to be on the pitch for that particular day. Likes of Mikel Merino, Calafiori, I think those guys would have, taken better penalties. And then one of the things that actually, for me, pissed me off was the fact that we did not, like some of our attackers, some of our front players, after they take off Sosa, Madueke came in, yes. Eze came in and, took the penalty and lost, yes. Madueke did not even step up at all. That's one of the disappointing things that actually came to me. As an attacker, like I used to say this many times, I say this again and again, many, many times. If you are an attacker, you are in a game and there's a penalty shootout and you're shying away from the penalty, then there's a problem, because basically you are supposed to lead your team, to those in that kind of a situation. Why? Because if you attacker cannot go ahead and take the game and decide to go and go for the penalty and go and take it, what do you expect when you have the likes of Gabriel having to take the penalty? And no disrespect to Gabriel, I can't even fault him for what happened in the game, basically, because he did the best I think he could do in that particular game. He was very, very solid in his role. I think for me, those who actually failed us the more in that game is the likes of Madueke personally. And no attack to him. I guess he was just not strong enough, confident enough to go and take that penalty. And well, first to him, but basically I feel he should have done better. You can't go there, take it, and it's personally I don't like it, because I used to speak it when Nigeria was playing the penalty their penalty shootout against was it DR Congo, and you have the like of Kevin Bassey stepping up to take penalty. There's nothing wrong with defenders deciding to step up and take penalty, but attackers should be out there. Should be the favorites, should be the first set of people who go out there to take penalties. Left for me, for them deciding, to being so scared of not being able to, take the penalty, and then deciding, to go on there and pushing up a defender out there. And I've seen a lot of things, being said about Gabriel, about Eze, who missed the penalty. Tell me, look, first of all, I came out of that Champions League, I'm proud. I'm proud as anything. I'm as proud as I can be, because we gave it all we could. Let nobody know, forget, don't let anybody come and gaslight you that you play defensive game. Before we started the game, we all knew that, we were going to play. It was a case of defense against attack. So why is everybody now suddenly, talking about, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they parked the bus, they did this, they did that. I really do not care, bro. I don't care what you think, how you think we played. It really doesn't matter to me. For me, we played what we could play, and then we're as good as we can. And yes, we pick up from there. If there's anybody who is good, who is good at, dusting themselves up and going out there and trying to, get a result in the next one, I think for me is Arsenal. And big up Ateta, big up the whole team. Take a week off, relax. Go to those of you that are going for the World Cup. Go for the World Cup with your favorite, with your national team, and you come back well relaxed, and everything is going to be, everything is going to be fine. For me, I'm proud of that result. So I think that will be all for me in the case of that final. Me personally, I'm fine. I'm grateful for how far we've done, for how we went about it. It's fine, but definitely the season is over. That is that, and that is that on the Champions League. So moving back to the theme of this video, which is what we are talking about, I want to actually assess everybody's season this season. So we're going to, I'm going to try to bring up the Premier League table. Premier League table. According to the table here, let's see everybody's starts on that table. Let's see everybody on that table. So we're going to take them from the from the bottom team, like Both got relegated, even though I think they've been fiddling with it. Sometimes they've been around there and there about. So I think the first person I will talk about is Spurs. Now, Spurs for me have had a very terrible season, but basically nobody. But they, on the other hand, will probably maybe be happy that it could have been worse because maybe they would have been relegated one way or the other. And I know, staying in the division is very, very important, and which they did, and which is, probably maybe it's good for them. But personally, I think seeing Spurs in 17 does not actually make sense for me. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, got, and if I'm supposed to rate Tottenham season anyway, if it has, don't forget, we're going to be making this in the, the good, the bad, and the terrible. So for me, I think if I'm supposed to gaze or score the Tottenham theme, the performance for the season, considering coming from the Europa League win and the rest of them, and then ending up in 17 again, 17, that is not good enough, and I will be putting them under the bad season. Bad season. It would have been a terrible season, or what do you call it, or a shocking season if they get relegated. It would have been shocking, but I think it's just led to a bad season. Tottenham is not new. They came 17 last year, so if they came 17 again, yes, it's not. I don't think it's shocking if they finished their last season and right now they are there again. So that is that for Spurs. Moving to Crystal Palace, I think every other team down here has made West Ham relegation bad, Burnley bad, Wolves bad. Bad season. That's what I feel. That's how I feel for them. Nottingham Forest, I think they've had a good season. Even though their position in the table is not good enough. It's not encouraging enough. Yeah, you can have your say on that. It's not good enough, but I think they've had a bad season, a great season. Winning the FA Cup. Apart from that, they've won the FA Cup from the previous season. They've won the Community Shield, and also they've come up now and they've won the Conference League. So I think I'll give it their season a good season. Then I move to Leeds. It's a very good season for them because they never expected themselves. But some people had them, for relegation, and here they are. They made it. Everton is a good season for them. Newcastle, I think, is a bad season because basically you expect them to kick on because they were in the Champions League, and considering the fact that me personally, I like Eddie Howe. I believe in Eddie Howe. One of the managers I wanted then, I know before we go at that, was Eddie Howe. I felt like I wanted him. I like the way he plays and his ideologies and everything. I think I used to like him and I still like him. So, but for the achievements he made last season, getting to the Champions League, playing in the Champions League, and then coming 12th. Yes, might not be good enough literally on paper, but let's be honest. How many? Yeah, and they also made signings, yes. And I'm very sure I have some Newcastle fans who are, calling for his head. I think I will understand why they are calling for his head, but overall, I still think that I think it's a bad season for them because I expect them to be higher on the table, considering the fact that they had the Champions League football and they had to do this. Hopefully, if they keep their players, hopefully they are going to get better. But right now, I think they will be in trouble because a lot of players will probably want to leave, and because they are not able to actually spend money like that, even though we know they have enough, money to spend, but they are not able to actually spend it, and they're not been able to. They got Watermadley and some other players like that, but still, I think for them this season would have been bad. Fulham, I think they will have a normal season for them. You see, normal season for Fulham. But Chelsea. If I'm going to rate the Chelsea season, for a team that is in the Champions League, that calls themselves world champions, really, and which they are world champions, which they are. We expected Chelsea to kick on. I expected Chelsea to kick off from there. I expected them to be. There was a point in this season that Chelsea was actually in the top half of the table. They were actually, in the top of the. I think they were second. I think they were second at the point in time, and the runs of draws and loss and the rest of them, and they came down and the whole thing, it's like that. But one thing you need to understand is this: because of the instability at Chelsea and the blue coat, Chelsea fan will be able to tell me this more. But I feel like this is a shocking season for me, because I expect Chelsea to kick on. At the point in time, I expected this to happen maybe a couple of seasons ago. Not now. Not with the changes. Not with the with what has been with what has been built. Now you have players acting funny that they want to leave. I saw today that Mark Koyola was putting in message that he wants to leave, and Enzo Fernandez and Co and the rest of them. You expect that team to kick on. A team with the likes of Cole Palmer, Joao Pedro should not be finishing 10th in the Premier League. That is what I think. A team with such quality, because it has been proven Chelsea were never, as in, do not deserve the the position that they find themselves in right now. They shouldn't be. And yeah, we can go on with with banter and the rest of them. We can continue to throw shit at ourselves that all this, but you yourself know within yourself that the quality of team that you have, has a potential of doing better than what they have achieved. So for me personally, I think Chelsea's season has been shocking for me. I know they might not, challenge for the league. They might not have won the league or something. But let's think of it. Come to think of it, right? Chelsea actually got to the finals of the FA Cup, right? And they were knocked out by Man City. And one thing I want you to understand is this: in that game, I actually felt like beautiful goal from Antoine Semenyo, to be honest. But on the other hand, I still feel like Chelsea themselves were robbed in that game, because I felt like Cousinos should have been a penalty for Chelsea, and Chelsea should have been able to scored. And if Chelsea had scored, and we never could have told how the game would have pounded out. But Chelsea did not get that. Chelsea did not get the goal, and then City scored, and then the game ended that way. So for me, yes, but still with that upon that, I still feel like Chelsea season was shocking, because apart from the fact that yes, they got to the final one way or the other, but their season is shocking, because even if they would not win the FA Cup, which I'm not faulting them for, maybe they didn't win it, but they should have actually be in the top half of the table. They shouldn't be 10th. They shouldn't be 10th. I don't think this caliber of player they have and 10th position does not actually correlate. Now moving on to moving on to Brentford. I think those are the shockers of the season. Those are the three shockers I have for this season that had an outstanding season. Brentford, Brentford, I think they had a wonderful season. Sunderland and Bournemouth. Sunderland, Bournemouth, and Brentford had an outstanding season. Those guys, in fact, they wanted to be a party pooper at a point in time. I was scared of them. And let me tell you something. When we were going into the title race, I knew Bournemouth had a hand in the league title. I knew they were going to influence the league title, and which they did. At one point in time, they swung the whole race, closer to City. And at the point in time, they were still the same person, the same team who took it away from City. And so for me, Bournemouth, Sunderland, and Brentford had a wonderful season, like a season. In fact, a very good season, a very, very good season from those guys. Brighton had an okay season, but basically they had a chance to do more, and they fell in the last minute. They should have been able to clinch the spot, because 3 points to what they have now will take them to 49, which will probably take Sunderland out, and probably they would have gone to the Europa League. But for one reason or the other, they lost against United, and they lost terribly against United, and then they find themselves holding the Conference League spot. Now moving on to Liverpool. Right now we know they sacked their manager Arne Slot. Now this is what I was saying. I was saying I was going to dedicate a time to Arne Slot. From the beginning, first of all, big up Arne Slot for winning the Premier League last year. And I said this before now, and I told Jamu, I told you this the other time. So I was going to cook your manager, but maybe not really cooking like that. But for me, he did well last season, but he had not proved himself, because we all know that the the team he was playing with last season had the whole, apart from the fact that he had the whole thing of Argentine club still on them. I think that team was on fire that year. You know, you had the likes of Gravenberch playing like the best DM in the world as at that point in time. Mo Salah created a record that cannot be, broken again by even he himself because of what the standard he sets in that season. Mo Salah, he was unstoppable that season. Likes of Cody Gakpo, and they still had some likes of players who, were there, who were on their peak form. And yes, they didn't sign a player, they won the league, they cruised through the league, and Arsenal fell off. Arsenal and City fell off, and these guys won that league. But now, moving into the new season, you got the likes of Ugo Ekitike, Isak, and Florian Wirtz, and so Kekes and co. Now, my question is this. Big up Eddie last week, we were discussing that. I don't seem to understand why Liverpool got Ekitike and Isak in the same transfer window. As in, what were they even thinking? What were they thinking in the first instance? I just can't imagine what they were thinking, I didn't know what they were thinking. You got two strikers, and at the end of everything, yes, we know this guy was injured. Isak was injured for the majority of the season. Yes, but the whole thing, the way we knew Liverpool for, what we knew Liverpool for, Liverpool did not actually, show it this season. And for me, they have had a bad season. They've had. And some people might call it a shocking season, but I don't think it's a shocking season for Liverpool. I think it's a bad season. I wasn't even expecting them to be that good in the previous season that they won the league, but they did won it, and which kudos to him. But at the point in time, I knew he was not special. I knew he was not going to. I said this before when the season started. It was not easy. It was not going to be easy for Arne Slot to replicate that and get that again. And which happened. And he actually, so for me, it's not a shocking season. It's just a bad season for Liverpool. And I think things will get better. Now they have sacked the manager. They have a new manager. They are thinking of getting in Areola, which he would definitely make them get better. And for me, I think Liverpool is not as terrible as people think. I think it's just a matter of time. They will get themselves, up there, and they are going to be back in the mix next season. So Liverpool has had a bad season, but not a shocking season. For Aston Villa, they've had a very good season. I'm not going to lie. They won the Europa. You made the Champions League. Unai Emery, even though I'm not really a fan of this guy because of the hate for Arsenal, but still, I think he had a wonderful season. The likes of the player they have, kudos to him. He made that. He had a very good season. Let's go to Manchester United. Now, this is not a shocking result. It's not a shocking standing for me. It's a good season for Manchester United, to be honest. It's a good, just a good. It's not because in the beginning of the season, I expected United to be in the top four. I put them in the top four. Why? Because we're playing one game a week. I didn't even know the season was going to be like that. It's only because their manager chose, to be deviant to what he was doing, to not to change his style and to stay with that particular one style that he was doing. I think that was the challenge that he had, and that is the reason why United had to suffer. And immediately there was this, a change, to Carrick, and Carrick was able to get, the identity of the team, and they gave up. So I'm not shocked that United finished third. Basically, Man United, I've seen Manchester United fans come to me and tell me, oh, yeah, we did this. Did you see what we did? Yes, you did it, because I was expecting you to do it in the first place. Why? Because you had one game a week and you had the quality of player. You don't spend 280 million on your attack, and you expect me, and you expect yourself not to be there or thereabout. So it wasn't shocking. It was just your manager that was trying to, he wanted to scatter and, finish the team in the first place. That was the reason why the whole issue is like that. So there's no argument about that. So a good season for United, and they finished third. They definitely will be in the Champions League, which is an outstanding season for them. So for me, it's a good season for United. Retired pundit, bro, how you doing? You can up on you can up on the link is in the comment section. Up, let's discuss. Basically, I said United has had a good season, but basically I expected it. I said it before. United are likely going to be in the. I predicted United to be in the thereabout anyway. So for me, that is that for United. So United, big up yourself. You know, it's a very nice season. Even though you come back to join yourself with align yourself with Chelsea fan, I care less. But I will just tell you, you have had a good season. I'm not surprised. It's not a bad season. It's a good season for you, but it's not an outstanding season like that. But moving on to City, I think having the FA Cup and the Carling Cup is something for a club. Definitely, I expected you guys to be there. City has had a wonderful and a great season. A wonderful and a great season for them personally. I have with me retired pundit. Welcome to the show. Let me get you on. Let me just get your take on Manchester United before I move on to the remaining two. That is the Arsenal and the City segment of the season. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there, man.
Can you hear me? How are you doing, bro? I can hear you perfectly.
I'm alright, man. I'm alright. So sorry I didn't quite get the notification for the start of the program, so I'm kind of joining. Yeah. Otherwise, regarding Manchester United, I believe you are reviewing the season, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Manchester United, it's kind of a tricky assessment for Manchester United. Because they changed the manager in December, it's a bit unfair not to attribute their positive season change to him also, because in any case he managed to lay the ground for the results that we ended up seeing during Michael Carrick's tenure. But I know for some fans who maybe just want to see some wins, they wouldn't want to credit Ruben Amorim. But for me, I think what Ruben Amorim did for Manchester United cannot be ignored. Yes, some fans did not want to see the 3-4-3 formation. But again, you have to understand that the positive season, the position that we ended up being on, is because of one, the fact remains that he is the one that brought in Matheus Cunha, Brian Bomo, and Benjamin Sesko, who all managed to do to have double figure, goals in the season. So you cannot say the transfer worked well without acknowledging the men who requested those people to come in, because he wanted them to play as the two inside tens. That's Belmo and Matheus Cunha, and that's apparently, if we were to analyze them, those are the perfect positions for these guys. Which is why Brian Belmo had more output during Ruben Amorim's tenure, because he likes it slightly towards the wing, but also slightly near the center. Not necessarily as a winger, not necessarily as a striker, which is why he has been struggling in the Michael Carrick's tenure. And to summarize this, I just want to say Manchester United had, I would want to say maybe they actually overperformed. If you look at the other parts of the team, that's looking at Casemiro. No one would have expected that a 34-year-old defensive midfielder would be contributing 9 goals. That's more than Bukayo Saka, more than Declan Rice, the so-called Ballon d'Or contender, and that's more than all the defensive midfielders in the Premier League. And then you have Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw playing 38 games for the first time in his life. So it shows that.
Let me ask, because I can see you are throwing jades down, Bob. Let me not take it to heart. Let me just ask you a question, really. Yeah, you mentioned the fact that you have to acknowledge the fact that two things I want to pick from your words. You said you think United overachieved, because I don't think so, and I will explain to you why. The reason why I don't think so in the first instance is that starting the season, United spent over 280 million pounds on their attack. So definitely I knew there was going to be possible. You can't spend 280 million in your attack and not expect results. That's number one. Now, not just that alone. I felt like, when the season started, I predicted United to be in the top four. Personally, I felt like one game a week, they were supposed to do it. Now, yes, what I said and what I kept on is that I felt like the reason why the second time I'm going to counter you about and I want to mention is you said credit should go to Amaran, who actually called for the players. But yes, the player were individually doing good, but the team was not progressing. So for me, there was no improvement in that team. So if United being out of top four in the first place was not as a result of the team, because I knew personally that the team was capable of making top four from the beginning of the season, but it was the deficiency of the manager that kept them in the position they are. So if they actually came back to achieve it, which is right, you attributing positivity to this manager that left, I think is kind of you are moving in a contradictory manner, because you can't say United overachieved at the same time you give kudos to the manager who actually used this team and the team was not getting results and the team almost ran out of everything. But later, someone else came in and the team, and now you now say you overachieved. Yes, Carrick overachieved, but United, for me, I don't think you guys overachieved. What do you think about that? That's what I feel. What do you think?
Okay, when I say overachieved, I am looking at what I was expecting from August, right? The moment that I say overachieved is because I didn't expect that Liverpool, from being champions, they would have this shocker of a season, ending up in number 5 or 6. Then can you bring up the table again?
Yeah, you need to see the table again, right?
Yes. Then
Let me just.
Chelsea, I didn't expect Chelsea to also go down like they did. So that's where the overachievement comes into play. Again, it was also a bad season overall for all the teams if you were to look at it honestly, because it's not often that you get the Premier League winner having 83 points, and number two is 79, 78 thereabouts. So it was generally a poor season. But I tend to agree with you when you say that with no midweek games, no Europe, and out of every competition from their first leg, it was expected that United should perform like they did. But for me, again, I will also attribute this performance to Ruben Amorim. I cannot, ignore what he contributed to. We also forget that he also, vouched for Sene Lamens, who was also another important pillar. I mean, to do those were huge calls that he did, taking off Andre Onana, Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho. United are a team very big on their academy players. So taking off two huge academy players for that matter, that's Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford, and telling them that you guys need to find some other teams. Never mind Jordan Sancho. He's been the black sheep in any case. So without those huge calls, it was going to be difficult for whoever was coming in. Unfortunately, in life, there's always someone who is going to do the hard work, and then someone is going to just step in. I remember Chelsea in 2004. In the prior season, they had a coach called Claudio Ranieri, who ended up winning the league with what do you call it, Leicester City, maybe a decade later. He did the hard work of bringing in the likes of Didier Drogba, Claudio Makelele, and all those other signing. And Mourinho then just came up to, use all the tools that he had and just brought in the mentality. But someone had already done the hard part. So for me, I'm just acknowledging the guy that did the hard part without necessarily undermining Carrick for the job that he did. Carrick essentially started from outside what needed to be done and noticed, okay, Amorim maybe is being too stubborn here. Let me just play a back four, do the basics, 4-2-3-1 formation. put Bruno behind the striker. You have your runners in either Ahmad on the other side and Cunha on the other side and the striker. That's what he mainly did. He didn't bring in any transfer. He just changed the tools or the ponies on the chessboard. You know what I mean?
I think I get you. Now, first of all, let me quickly get everybody back on this so we can get there. Patrick, welcome to the show. I know you want to cook. I've been trying to call air cap so you guys will not say I dodged my cooking. That's why I came here and I decided to, put you guys on the mission. You guys can do whatever you want, but I still have to remind you before you go. I am still the champions, no matter what. Even if whatever you want to say, Patrick, whatever you say, whatever you're going to do now, I'm going to give you your time. I'm going to give you your time to cook. But whatever you do right now, just know that I am the champion. You get that? So, Patrick, over to you.
First of all, are you
there?
Are you all Arsenal fans? Yeah.
No. You have United fans. You have you have United fans. Everybody is there. So I'm here. I turned up. My network was bad, but I made sure I got on together. So I'm going to give you your floor. You have your floor. Over to you.
You say you're Premier League champions, we're world champions.
Yeah,
so,
of course. It's facts. That's facts.
So, let's get that out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. But you see you, Mister. Oh, it'll be all right. Oh, don't worry, Patrick. You're just facing the inevitable. What inevitable, bro? What inevitable? Are you Thanos? Are you meant to snap your fingers and bring everything into existence?
What position are you in the league, bro? You want to talk to me? You want to talk to me? What position are you in the league?
How many Champions Leagues you got?
I don't care. I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't care too.
Oh, you don't care. You don't. Oh, I'm sure you don't care. I'm sure you don't care. I'm sure you do not care. I'm sure. Because the last time I checked, every single one of you wanted this Champions League. Dr. Nick, Nick on a stream on thing making AI photos of Champions League when we're on our stream. Yeah, we have the King. Yeah, King saying we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And what happened? What happened?
We won the league at Anfield. We won it at the lane. Twice.
Champions of England. We're champions, bro. We're champions of England. But Patrick, let me actually just say this. Arsenal fans before the match, we just had a prediction. Like, can't we back our team? Like, say, if we think we're gonna win, like at the end of the day, you have to back your team. Nobody, like most people were predicting Arsenal to get battered against PSG. So it's like Arsenal losing was that something you expected? Probably yes. So let's not do this whole thing where some of you will try and crash it on us when you didn't expect us to win in the first place.
Okay, Solomon, I've got messages or I've got receipts. Yeah. You said, yes, but do you know we're kings of England, so we couldn't do much? Okay, pal, if you say so. And wait until we get the Champions League at the end of the month. It will be peak for all of you.
That's just a prediction.
So you said you were going to win the Champions League. So don't go back.
Yeah, because I backed my team.
Don't you dare go back.
My team.
Wait, Patrick, you forget that's someone making a prediction. Just because you make a prediction and it doesn't happen, doesn't mean, you always need to be right. And this is the thing, this is my issue I have with just a lot of football fans.
Look at these Arsenal fans. Attack. This is the most attacking you've done since Paris.
No, but this is my issue with a lot of football fans. A lot of football fans think that everything someone says has to be right. It always has to come to existence. It's okay to get predictions wrong. Same thing with pundits, because it just feels like people it feels like in football people can't now share their own opinion because it's like other people just want to clip them up or they just want to get receipts. And it's almost like all these so-called banter has like almost caused people to stop all this football analysis, and it's now become so tribalistic, up to the point that people don't want to analyze football matches objectively, and people are so
Chelsea are just
blinded
being
but people are just blinded by their hatred and saltiness. That's one thing I've actually realized.
But you know why we hate you? You know why?
Why?
Because it's the fans. Because it's you guys. You're doing the more attacking to me than you did the entire game at Paris Saint-Germain.
No.
You are. Oh, it's just a prediction. It's just this, it's just that. Every Arsenal fan I've came into contact with said you were going to win the Champions League. All right, you can cry.
No one's crying. Like, did anyone in their right mind think Arsenal were going to beat PSG? Like, that's just a prediction. Because did anyone, if you ask someone for their honest opinion, I'm telling you right now, they definitely did not think Arsenal were going to beat PSG. Because some people that were saying Arsenal will beat PSG, they're not giving you their honest opinion. They're just saying something for the sake of it, but they don't give you their honest opinion of what they truly think.
But I'm just saying, that's all I have to say. You know, the fact that you're champions of England, fine. We all knew that. That was inevitable. You predicted you were going to win the league. You said that into existence, right?
Yeah.
It came into existence, right? So, congratulations. But when you come to the Champions League, do not sit on that high horse. Don't try and think you're man of the table. Yeah? You would have got the Champions League trophy. Yeah, you would have gone in on Chelsea fans, in on Man United, in on Liverpool, in on.
I don't think Arsenal would have gone in. It would have mainly been Chelsea fans and Tottenham fans.
Man
you know what,
United
guys? Hold on.
I don't think Arsenal would have gone on Man United, because Man United already have like three Champions Leagues. I don't think Arsenal would have gone on Liverpool. Liverpool have 6 Champions Leagues.
So you would go in on us despite the fact that we've won 2.
Because remember, our total number of trophies is more than Chelsea's, despite no Champions League. So how come with Chelsea, despite Arsenal taking the back seat, you've not overtaken us on total number of honours?
You just said, and I quote, we can't have a go at Manchester United and Liverpool because they have 3 Champions Leagues and they have 6. So what in your right mind do you think you can come at us when we've won 2?
Let me tell you something. Because total number of trophies, you still got less total number of trophies.
Of Champions Leagues to the number of trophies.
Because the thing is, are you gonna say, oh, you're a bigger club than Arsenal just based on? Do you look at a big club based on only Champions League? Because if you look at
the past 20 years, we've been bigger than you.
Okay, hold on, guys.
You can say you've been more successful, but you're not.
You were nothing but FA Cup merchants.
Hold on.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I love winning FA Cups. You're FA
Cup merchants.
Calm down. Let me ask you
What were you before Abramovich's sugar daddy money? What were you? What were you? You were nothing. You were nothing.
You guys should calm down.
You weren't relevant. Before Abramovich, you weren't irrelevant.
No one knew who you were.
You weren't irrelevant.
Guys.
You weren't irrelevant. Even Henry. Let me tell you what Henry said. Henry said when he was playing for Arsenal, Chelsea was always a small match. It was always
people here. You guys should chill. You guys should chill. Let me get from a neutral, retired pundit. What is your take on this? Should Chelsea be cooking an Arsenal fan for losing penalties in the finals? Your honest opinion, what do you think about this argument?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I wasn't neutral on this one. I only have 5 words. Let it all work out.
Let it all work out.
You joining the cooking too. You are joining the cooking.
Viva Gabriel. He could have won the cup, but he didn't. Viva Gabriel.
A big up Eddie, they've been cooking me. You see what I'm saying now? Eddie, you came to me and said I should be liberal, I should be a different man, I should talk football, I should be talking football with these people. But these guys are not listening to me. You see them now. They are busy trolling me for losing a final. 1-1 in the final, 1-1, and it was a penalty. And these guys are here, cooking me for losing the final.
Minutes, you parked the bus. You parked the bus.
You yourself.
What are Stoke City?
Wait. How did you win it against Bayern Munich?
We were down 1-0, getting absolutely dominated. Didier Drogba heads it in, and then we give away a penalty in extra time, and we saved it. Went to penalties.
That's the point. We did the same thing. We gave away a penalty, but this time we didn't save it. So it went that way, but it was still the same game, just different results.
Compare Budapest to Munich. No. You are not comparing your Champions League loss to our best fight in a Chelsea football shirt. Yeah, we had to beat the best team in the world, Barcelona, at that point.
You see, I'm not going to take for this guy. Let me tell you something.
But wait, hang on, Solomon. This is the thing, and I even watched on another football stream and Footy Judge Mo's channel, and another United fan based in US even touched on this. Like, when people are comparing this Arsenal team, they can't compare it to like the Chelsea team that won their first Champions League because the Arsenal team. Most of those players are better than that Chelsea team. I remember that Chelsea team, like, from what obviously that United fan was analysing, that Chelsea team had were punching above their weight. Wait, hang on, let me fit. Wait, okay, cool.
Hang on.
Those are United. Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
Bro. There was a United fan that, like, on another football channel I was watching said, when Chelsea won their first UCL, they were punching above their weight, and they weren't just punching above their weight, but they should never have been in the final in the first place. And they had a poor league campaign.
We
didn't have a very poor league campaign. Our league campaign was fine. We got to the final of the Carling Cup.
Yeah. So I'm saying, but the thing is, I even saw Chelsea fan saying to me that Arsenal Arsenal won the league, but he was saying Arsenal underachieved because he was saying he expected more from this Arsenal team.
More like what I was discussing with.
I'm not accepting underachieved because Arsenal didn't underachieve. Arsenal sort of like the fact that Arsenal won the Premier League and got far in other competitions. That is in itself. You can almost say that that's a fantastic season because nobody expects us before a ball was kicked to be competing in multiple competitions.
I rated our season 8 out of 10. I rated our season 8 out of 10. But I see fans still want to throw. I still got message. Even with that point, you told me you were going to talk football only for you to come here, and you also are trolling. You are trolling. You are betraying football.
I'm not trolling, bro. It was just one statement. But to be fair, like you said, it's final. You lost in penalties. It happens in football. But I would have hoped Mikel Arteta would have used, some tactics that showed a bit of ambition. You know what I mean? Because scoring a goal in the 5th minute and then you sit back for 115 minutes. That's a bit atrocious.
Wait, what were you expecting us to do, right? Were you expecting us to go all out against PSG? You're expecting us to play for footballing sake. This is the argument I kept on having. I keep telling people, now the scoreline is respectable. A 1-1 draw, penalties is respectable. You can come here and come back and cook me for being defensive, but the scoreline is respectable. But imagine going out and playing a 5-4. Are you expecting us to play that same game that Bayern Munich play. You know, instead of us to go back and play that game that Bayern Munich play, where we have 5-4, and all of you are calling this generational football. This is the match of the generation of the generation. I don't want my team playing that kind of a football because it doesn't speak well of your defense when we claim to have the best defense. I'm very sure if we had lost that game like 3-1 or 4-1, they will say, "Oh, where is Saliba and Gabriel? I thought you guys had the best defense in the world. This and that and that."
But I believe your team was actually well equipped to handle that type of game. I mean, with strong defense, strong midfield, with an equally potent strike force. So I don't know why sitting back was the only tactic. Like you are some RC loans or Olympic Marseille or something. I mean, you have 100 million midfielder and Declan Rice sitting there. You have Bukayo Saka. You had Ladi Gyökeres. You had, I mean, all the tools. Saliba, Gabriel. If there was a team well suited to handle bloody PSG, then Arsenal was the one. But unfortunately, Mikel Arteta, maybe he was influenced by the South American Gabriel hands too defensive. But if if you were to look at the game that you played at Parc des Princes last season, it showed that you could go, I mean, punch for punch with them. But
hold on, there's a difference between that game and this game. That game, we were chasing something. We were chasing something. We were go down. We needed to go out there to do something. But right here, right now, we had something to perfect. Okay, hold on. If Mosquera hadn't have given away that penalty, I'm telling you, we will be singing a different anthem here right now because PSG didn't create anything. Yes, look at what he's saying. Eddie is saying, nah, you guys should have countered attack more versus PSG. You said you guys packed the ball too much. Wait, we were 1 goal ahead till the 50-something minutes, and you guys expected us to actually go out after being a goal ahead against the best attack in the world, in quote, like you guys said. I still don't understand. Against the best attack in the world, after being 1 goal ahead till the 60 when is it 57 minutes when they scored their goal? Do you expect? Are you telling me that we should have gone out and attack?
What I'm saying is you were equipped to give them a problem up front. The problem with PSG, if you just sit back and expect them to stay off you, then you're essentially attracting them onto you and using their best version, which is controlling the ball and rotating and recycling it, finding some defensive spaces, some attacking poles in you. So the moment you sit back against PSG, you're actually calling for trouble. You are better off pressing them high up and then making sure that they stay in their own box. They can do all the passes on their side of the half without any problem. But it's as soon as you allow them to have the ball in your final third, you're calling for trouble.
Oh, hold on. What I'm trying to point out, I want you to pick is this. Look, right? Apart from the fact that look at the way we set up, it was not as if PSG was peppering our goal. I think the total shot PSG had in that game was on target was 4. We had 1 and we scored the 1 we scored. They had 4. They couldn't even score from open play. They scored from a penalty kick. It was, for me, it looks like it was effective, if not for the penalty. And yeah, you might be right. Yes, I think he's always whispering. Maybe yes, Ends might be whispering the defensive whatever in his ears, which you're right, and I get. But let's be honest with ourselves. We went into the game. They scored. Okay, they scored a penalty. Yes, which is a deserved penalty. It's a deserved penalty. But they came into the game. The best attack in the world, the so-called best attack in the world, came into the game and couldn't create. They weren't preparing our goal. If you take away the penalty, they wouldn't have gotten another goal. They couldn't score. Not that they weren't cutting us open. They weren't slicing us open. Meaning the defense, the thing we went there. Well, and when you're talking about what Eddie just said now, talking about no counter attack more. It's possible for a big team, counter attack from us. Yeah, but we were ahead. And yes, we were not getting enough counters, maybe probably because some of our attackers, we didn't get it, but they were not peppering us either. So I kind of don't understand what is the point everybody is trying to tell me here, that we should, when we got a goal against PSG, that we were supposed to be attacking, or I don't understand. We were we didn't have the ball and we stayed compact. And we were fair. And even before we played the game, we all knew that it was a defense against attack. So why does everybody now suddenly turn around and start making it sound like, oh, Arsenal are this? You know that's what Arteta is going to play in the first place. Why are you now acting strange as if it's new, as if it's a new thing, as if it's special that Arteta did one thing that is terrible? We knew. Is there anybody who didn't know that it was defense against attack in that game?
Yeah, I think people are just choosing to be ignorant, and people just want to slag off like Arsenal for like, oh, why didn't Arsenal come? Like, why didn't Arsenal go a bit more attacking and stuff like that? Because I even spoke to a PSG fan, and he said like, oh, the reason you lost is because you didn't really try to attack this, that, and the other. But it's like that's the same fan where he said he didn't think Arsenal were going to beat PSG. So in a way, isn't that like contradicting yourself?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's very like I find that streaming, and it's like people like that. I don't really like engaging in footballing conversations because it's like you're complaining about Arsenal being boring. Oh, we were this, we were that. That's fine. If you want to win being boring, that's fine. But if it's a thing where people are saying, "Oh, Arsenal were boring," and then you want to call Arsenal bottlers in Champions League this season, then it's like that's stupid. I can't listen to someone who's saying, "Oh, Arsenal bottled it in you," because how can you bottle something that you were not expected to win? And you say, "Oh, because Arsenal were leading 1-0 and you ended up like losing on penalties." Let me ask the United fan here.
They said we should.
Arsenal, like, wait, let me ask. I want to get his thoughts.
They wanted us to be like Chelsea.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like the thing, like let me ask the United fan. The fact that Arsenal were leading 1-0, and then they now like end up losing, like PSG equalized for a penalty being given away by Arsenal, and then Arsenal lose on penalty shootout. Do you look at that and think, oh, that's a bottle job? I'm asking the United fan. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't say that was a bottle job per se, but again, as a United fan, it's good that you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you that. Do you think if Michael Carrick was the one facing PSG, would he have been that ultra defensive as Arsenal were on today?
But it was never like that in the first place. Carrick was never like that. Arteta plays like this. We knew he was pragmatic from the beginning of this season. Even Big Rook, as an Arsenal fan, knows that he doesn't go much for the ball. Yes, which is there. And let's be honest. For me, I feel what happened was that Arteta did not actually plan for the penalty, because he had taken off all his best penalty takers. Saka was out of the game. Trossard was out of the game. Calaferi was not even in the game. Merino was not in the game. Those are, if he planned for penalty, like the last penalty we played, you knew how good our players were with penalty. So he didn't plan for it. He expected things to have turned out maybe before the game. He never expected the penalty, and the penalty came in. But the way people are making it sound is somehow. They said, Gabriel bottled the pen. Look at this now. Look at what I'm talking about. At this point, Eddie is just trolling. Gabriel bottled the pen.
Yeah.
You see?
The thing is, Solomon, the one thing I found strange, and I think Henry touched on, was the fact that Gabriel taking a pen, because it's like, has he really taken penalties before for club or country?
That's the problem. And that's the reason why I was angry.
I
found that a strange decision, but it is what it is.
But in my opinion, I think in the heat of the moment, I'm imagining that when the whistle was blown, Mikel Arteta might have said, "Guys, who wants to take penalties?" And a lot of guys chickened out. Maybe Madueke chickened out. Zubimendi didn't want to take it, and the other guys didn't fancy it. And Gabriel was, "Okay, guys, if you don't want it, I can take it." This is the heat of the moment. You're not gonna slag him off for standing up to say, "Guys, I'm ready for this." So it is what it is.
Yeah, and
that's one of the reasons why I was angry at Madueke. if the other penalty was lost by Madueke, I wouldn't have complained because basically at least he had it. That's why till today, you see, I didn't mention about Eze. Eze came out, took the pen, he missed it, and I agreed he missed it. Yeah, it happens. But for the fact that Noni Madueke did not even show up, I think that's a disgrace. I'm not happy with that at all. Personally, I'm not happy with that fact.
The one thing I just hope is that I just hope people are not slagging off Eze, because he missed a penalty, this, that, and the other. Like, and this is the one thing I have with a lot of football fans, especially if it's a black player, like, and the player misses a penalty.
Yeah.
People now like to use that as a scapegoat to be like, this player doesn't perform for their country, or start slagging him off. Like, go do one. Don't be slagging players off. You could go do one.
Yeah, I was especially made on Madueke because remember Madueke was fighting Palmer at Chelsea for penalties. And
you're right.
The man hides behind Saliba and the other guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's what pissed me off. Honestly, it pissed me off seriously. I felt disappointed for that. It was I never believed that he could chicken out that way. Because I saw him, I watched that match, he was dragging the pen with Palmer, only for you to now have a pen in front of you where you could play and as an outfield player, and it was nowhere to be found. I was disappointed. He actually messed up seriously. Although I have no choice, he's my player, I have to back him up and go. But for chicken out in that kind of a game, I felt terrible. I just have to forgive him one way or the other, but I'm not happy about that at all.
Yeah, but again, I mean, a bit of better planning from Mikel Arteta towards the penalties would have been, good, because obviously know in a final, especially if you're going to be defensive, there is a high chance that you end up going to penalties. So if you don't plan for who's going to take the penalties, then what are you doing? Because I played soccer at some levels of the game, and if you're going to a game that's expected to go to penalties, you practice penalties in the sessions leading up to the game, isn't it? So I don't want to accept the reason that Arteta had not planned for the penalties or something like that, because obviously in any final, if you don't outscore each other, penalties are the result. So you have to plan for penalties.
Yeah, but even with regards to the game, when I'm seeing the way you're analyzing the game and stuff like that, I haven't seen a lot of people analyze the game the way the United fan on this live is analyzing, because a lot of people are just focusing on talking about Arsenal did this, Arsenal did that, but rather than actually focus on the actual analysis, where the game was won, where the game was lost, etc. And then like I'm seeing people, I've seen some City fans thinking, because they won two cups, they think that they had a better season than Arsenal. Like 2 domestic cups. I love the FA Cup, but winning the FA Cup and also the Carabao in one season is not bigger than winning 1 Premier League in the season, because the Premier League will always command more respect than winning 2 domestic cups. Because the way I've seen some City fans act, I'm thinking they're almost acting like a small club, because big clubs will not act like if a big club wins and is challenging for a league title and they end up winning 2 domestic cups and they don't win the Premier League that year, they will look at it as a bad season based on their standards.
Let me jump on you on that. I don't believe City has had a bad season. Honestly, let's be honest. I know I don't like City, but I don't think they've had a very good season. Yeah, maybe you might think it's not better than ours, but me, I think City has had a very good season, because basically we might just say, although I wouldn't have been happy if it was our season, I would have taken it. But City did not have a bad season. Let me just correct that one. I just wanted to correct that. I don't think City had a bad season. City has had a good season. I think they've had a good season on that. But Patrick is among those that is slagging Eze off for missing the penalty.
Has had a good season, just their inconsistency. That's the thing. Man City have been inconsistent this season. Whenever you play Man City, you don't know what type of Man City you're coming up against. You could be playing the all guns blazing, no way you're going to beat on Manchester City. Or they'll go 1-0 up, you think they're going to do well, and the next minute they leave themselves so open. Let me ask
this question now from everybody. Let me ask from now. Let me start with Patrick. Patrick, do you think Premier League is bigger than both FA Cup and Carabao Cup win combined? Do you think? What will you take? Which will you take?
Well, the Premier League is massive. Let's not doubt about that. The Premier League is massive. I think if you're battling the Premier League, say Arsenal and Man City, for instance, and then Man City getting into the final, that's not a good. I think if you're not fighting for the title, it's big. But if you are fighting for the title, you need to go in clear head without any more distractions. Because I think that's what killed Man City off in the end. The fact that they had to play Saturday against Brentford, then they had to play midweek against Crystal Palace, then they had to play FA Cup final, and then play on a Tuesday night against Bournemouth, never helped. They had no rest. I think if you're fighting for the title, get out of those competitions early so you can focus on that. That would be important. But if you're not fighting for the title, it's important. That's what my theory is.
Patrick, the thing is, that's the nature of the beast. You can't complain of you're in multiple competitions. If you're a big club and you're competing for multiple things and you want to win multiple trophies, you're always gonna have so many games. Like you might have like not much rest. You just gotta like get over it. Like when fans complain of that, I'm like, whether you agree or don't agree, it's up to you. But it's like that's the nature of the beast. You just got to get over it and manage it. Because the fact that you say, let me try and like get knocked out of a competition, get out of a competition early because of obviously so many games. That's in a way that's slightly a loser mentality, because it's almost like you would rather throw away a competition because you feel like you're playing too many games. Like I expected better from a Chelsea fan, because if this was Arsenal, you would slag Arsenal. You would slag Arsenal fans all day long, saying they're throwing other competitions.
Hold on. This is where I now need to go on the counter offensive here. When Arsenal and Manchester City played their finals, right? Played in the Carabao Cup final. You both played strong teams. The only thing you changed was your goalkeepers, Trafford and Kepa, right? The fact that when they went into the FA Cup final, Manchester City, they dropped Shirky, they dropped some of their first starter players for other players that are in that team. Arsenal in the FA Cup, you rotated the team to the point where you had a strong defence, but that attack and midfield was so incohesive, it let Southampton go for the kill. If you want to go for all the trophies, the treble, the quadruple, go with your full strength team. But if you go out of those two competitions early, or say semi-final stage, you then got to put all your eggs in the basket on winning the Premier League. There's no two ways or ifs or buts about it.
But you know what? Before you guys continue the argument, hold on. Before you guys continue, Patrick, hold on. Before you guys continue, let me ask. Let's finish that. Let's finish this segment. Retired pundit, the domestic double, City, FA, and the Carling Cup, and the Premier League, which is bigger?
Premier League,
winning both or winning just Premier League?
Premier League any day.
Premier League any day of the week. Okay, now.
When the season starts, if you are at Manchester City, Arsenal, or Manchester United, Chelsea, the bold targets are win the Premier League and have an extended run in the Champions League. The FA Cup, Carabao Cup nonsense is for teams like Crystal Palace and all the other ones. But the priority cups, Premier League and Champions League.
But you guys are confusing me now. You tell me it's about the trophies, right? You say the FA Cup, the Carling Cup. You tell me about trophies, right? And if somebody wins 2 trophies and then the other person wins 1, and then now you are confusing me here. And forget it. I know we have the Premier League, and I should be happy that you're saying the Premier League is the boss of it all. But you are confusing me here. The same standard you guys have all set. Saying that okay, this, but suddenly now you are expecting that someone who has won two different trophies have not, I don't understand the relation. I think somebody needs to help me with this now. I need to understand. Patrick, how does that single cup, is it because of the value or what? I don't understand. I need to understand. Does it mean that if Arsenal wins or if a team wins the Champions League and doesn't win the league, does it mean the hierarchy of the cups depends? I don't understand. I need to get the understanding of what everybody is arguing, because I can't get the argument now.
Everybody plays off the Carabao Cup as if it's just a small, crappy trophy Mickey Mouse Cup. Everybody discounts the Carabao Cup. But when it's the first piece of silverware for the season and you go and win that trophy, it will either springboard your season as if, like, imagine Arsenal would have won it. It would have said, right, there's just the taste, yeah? There's your taste of gold. Now we'll go on to do the bigger, better things, right? If you win the FA Cup and then you win the Premier League and you win the Champions League, you're 1 away from a treble. Nobody's done that apart from 2 teams, the 2 Manchester clubs. Imagine being the first London team to win the treble, the one that Manchester United chants about, Manchester City chants about. Yeah, that's history, right? That's, winning important. Those 3 trophies are pretty much the most important in English football. If you win it, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that whenever Arsenal or Chelsea or Manchester City, Manchester United, whatever, if you're a Big 6 team and you disrespect the cups by playing your weaker side and then thinking, oh, we can get past Southampton with this weaker team, we still got some of the first team players in there, and get absolutely slapped off the pitch, that disrespecting the cup in a way, because you want to go and win it. You need to go and win it. If you ain't,
but you cannot play your players all through the season. You can't play your first team players all through the season. I believe that's the reason why we have those players for cups.
Like, and at the end of the day, like, you also have squad depth. Like, that's why you have a squad, like, for squad depth. So when you're saying, like, oh, that a team that in a way it's like disrespecting a cup, like, I get that to a certain extent, but it's like you have to be able to sort of manage your squad, like rotate well, and this, that, and the other. You see what I mean?
I totally understand what you mean. I'm just saying, in my eyes, if you like what Arsenal did against Southampton, like what Liverpool did against, who was it that Liverpool played in the FA Cup?
And they lost. They lost. It was shocking.
Manchester City. The fact that every player, it is, you always play your first team. If you're in the cups, you want to win it. That's in the DNA of every fan. If you go into a cup, you want to win it. Yeah. The problem is, and this is what I'm going to say about the Club World Cup, I'm not trying to gloss it over. I'm just thinking, when we were in it, the fact that Chelsea had to rotate pretty much every player nearly every game, for the pure simple reason that if one of our big players gets injured, that's our season done. I think that's what Mikel Arteta is trying to do. If you say, if you play Saka week in, week out, Declan Rice week in, week out in every cup competition, and in the final, you play that strong 11 and Declan Rice gets injured, or Bukayo Saka, or a Cunha, or a Euro, or a Heaven, or for me, an Enzo Fernandez, a Cole Palmer, a João Pedro, that's your season done. That's your season done. Because where are you going to get your defence midfielders? Where are you going to get the ones that have been working your arse off week in, week out, to get you where you are, to keep you top of the Premier League, to get you into the semi-finals of the Champions League? If you lose one of those players, what are you going to do? You can't rely on Noni Madueke because he's not been good enough this season. You can't depend on Zubamendi. Zubamendi's not been good enough this season, even though he's been good in some games. You know what I mean? I can't rely on Liam Delap.
I mean, like with Zubamendi, I think as a backup, he's good enough as a backup. But when you think about it, I think Arsenal are looking at like someone else who can play, who can sort of be the understudy to Declan Rice, that can sort of play the 6 and the 8.
Guys, let's wrap this up, right? I want to wrap this up now. I want to ask this. In every world, we want to look at the big four, the big six, and we're going to rank their season. And we're going to just do three. We're going to use this qualification. We're going to use good, bad, and shocking. Okay? We want to see those who had a good season, a bad season, and a shocking season. Instead that, when I mean bad season means, that's like the average season, and then good season is like, the outstanding, and then we have those that actually shocked us. So I'm going to start with, if I look at the Premier League right now, I'm going to start from the top. Then, okay, let me go from the bottom. I think from the big six, the bottom team we have there is Spurs. Good, bad, shocking.
Shocking.
I think
it's bad.
I think you need another word for shocking, because the Spurs season was
diabolical.
Yeah, diabolical.
Let's be honest. They finished 17th last year. So if they finish 17th this year, it's not. To me, it's not. For me, it's not shocking. I think it's just bad.
No. If Spurs finish 17th this season, next season, I want relegation. You can't finish 17th twice. You can't do an Arsenal, bro. Finish second, then decide, oh yeah, we're going to do something. You need to be 17th, then get relegated, and then, sort that out. Yeah? If Arsenal 22 years of not winning the league, then win the league. I expect 2 years of bottling relegation to get relegated. I cannot have it two ways, bro. You either get relegated or you don't. You can't spend 17, expect other people. You're relegated, bro.
Okay. So are we saying Tottenham is shocking? Because I think it's just bad. I think it's a bad season, but not shocking.
They've been diabolical, mate. They have been one of the worst teams in the Premier League, man.
Yeah.
They have been the worst Premier League team. Get West Ham, Wolves, Burnley out of the way. Tottenham, out of everybody else, has been the worst. And the fact that they celebrated at full time saying that we survived. Get off the pitch.
No, they were giving it
He's slapping the cock and balls like he's absolute no one, bro. What you want about? You didn't even play half the season. You're done.
Deserby was busy doing some knee slides for surviving relegation,
Oh, mate. So imagine James Maddison coming back from injury and doing a knee slide. That's his ACL gone again, bro. That's his gone for another 9 months.
Wait,
Patrick.
Wait, Spurs having the season they had. Is that down to their injuries, or they've just not been good enough, regardless of their injuries?
Everything.
Because
you win the Europa League. What? God forbid, I'm going to talk like a Spurs fan here, right? Please forgive me. Yeah? Please forgive me. How can you go from winning the Europa League with Ange Postecoglou, for then sacking Ange Postecoglou, to then saying, "Oh, Champions League football, this could be a way of springboarding our season," to getting Thomas Frank, a man that has been mid-table with Brentford, that has been a bare standard at Brentford for the entirety of their Premier League journey, right? Why would you bring in Thomas Frank? And then the recruitment that you bring in as well, you get Paulinho, you get Kolo Muani, you get You know, who else did you get? You get
Xavi Simons.
Xavi Simons, right? Top quality players, right? But you ain't got the manager that will bring boredom. Yeah.
They actually got.
We played against them, we made it look like a piece of piss. When Arsenal played against them, you made it look like a piece of piss, right? If they got Eze, right, you could have the Xavi Simons Eze partnership. You could have had Kolo Muani or Richarlison up front. That could have been a fantastic partnership.
They had
right?
Kudus too. They had
Kudus. Yeah, they bought Kudus as well, right? But the fact is, you got a bog standard manager, a mid-table manager, couldn't do nothing. You leave it late. You then bring in Igor Tudor. You then play pathetic football with Igor Tudor. You get a point against Liverpool, right? You then try and rush De Zerbi, who needed a pre-season. Need the pre-season with these players to come in. And then it's nothing short of a low block, counter-attack, goal, win. And they win 2 games under 3 games under De Zerbi. But you win against an Aston Villa team that had rotated their squad because they had a Europa League semi-final to do. You had a relegation Wolverhampton Wanderers who were bog standard, couldn't even take a crap in the toilet. And then you've got Everton, who were fighting thing at the end of the day, and you can't trust David Moyes to win for his life, right? I'm sorry, but if I was a Spurs fan, I would rather see us get relegated. If they saw us celebrating at full time, just get off the pitch. Don't celebrate doing these slides.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Doing the wiggle worm. Don't do dance moves. Get off the pitch. Reevaluate what you've done this season, and then figure out how the hell you're going to get out of this mess.
Anyway, let's move on.
That was actually embarrassing. I can't lie. Because
guys, let's pack it up. Let's move to Liverpool.
Before we move on, Solomon, I actually want to say, I am actually mad at Spurs for taking points off City and giving Arsenal 6 points. If it wasn't for Spurs, you men won the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Why do you think I want them to remain in the league? I want them to remain in the league. At the end of the day, you can do all these. At the end of the day, you can do all these. If this happened, if that happened, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It does really. I want Tottenham to remain in the league so that they can always give me 6 points. Anyway, let's move on to Liverpool. So, I like their 6 points. It's something.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Liverpool.
Hang on, one quick thing. If Tottenham got relegated, where the hell are Chelsea and Arsenal getting their 6 points?
Exactly. Where are we getting our 6 points? It's short 6 points. So let's move to Liverpool. Liverpool, what has Liverpool season been like?
Liverpool, more like. Liverpool.
I think they had the bad season. They just had a bad season. I think they will be good. They'll be back next season. I think they will be good next season. I think Liverpool will be good next season. That's just me. I think they'll be good next season.
The thing with Liverpool is, why did you allow Xabi Alonso to go to Chelsea? If I was Liverpool, I want to know that. Because all season when Jurgen Klopp gone, Xabi Alonso was there. You said you were going to go for Xabi Alonso, but you didn't. Every Liverpool fan wanted Xabi Alonso, right? Couldn't. So when Arne Slot was going to go this season, whether he stayed or go, Xabi Alonso was there, ready for the taking. And then after the FA Cup final, when Liverpool were crap against Aston Villa, and say, "Oh yeah, we've got Chelsea now got Xabi Alonso. Oh yeah, we're going to keep Arne Slot. Oh yeah, don't worry guys, Arne Slot in the next season will be better." To Saturday night, with Arsenal playing the Champions League final, the biggest game, the big news report, to bang, we're going to sack Arne Slot and bring in Idoni Iraola.
They sacked him in the morning.
Go on.
They sacked him in the morning. Just to note that they sacked him in the morning.
Yeah,
For me, I
but
think they've had a bad season, really. A bad season. It's not shocking to me, but because I knew, I believe he deserved the league he won last year because the team was good. You know, Gravenberch was playing outstanding, all their players. Salah created a moment that could not be recreated again, maybe probably in his career because, you know, he's gone past his peak. But for me, it wasn't, it's a bad season for me, not as terrible as, I don't see it as terrible as people made it. Liverpool had a bad season, but it's not a terrible season. That's what I feel personally.
yeah, I think everything that needed to go wrong went wrong because all the injuries that they had after spending all that money, then Isak is injured, then Ekitike. Up to now, I don't know why they sold Luis Diaz up to now, and it's actually even more strange that they are letting Ibu Konate go. So
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know what's
shocking,
going on there,
shocking. They're all
but
over the
yeah,
place.
the season was bad for them.
It
All right,
also makes no sense. I'm not like trying to bring in the tragedy here, but after losing Jota, I'm not trying to like be mean here, but the fact that that team still carried on doing well, and then after they didn't start doing well, you heard Virgil van Dijk say, "Oh, we're still feeling the after effects of Jota." Yet you won 5 games in a row at the start of the season.
Remember, they weren't playing well, even though they were winning 5 games, because their performances were abysmal. They weren't convincing,
No,
and you can tell,
like
and you can tell in those games they didn't deserve to get the 3 points. They deserved to get like a point at best.
Bournemouth,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were like 2-0 up and they bottled it, and they nearly bottled it on the opening night.
yeah.
That
But
wasn't alarm bells.
mhm. To be honest, I don't think whilst losing someone is always never good. I mean, but to say we are not performing well because of Jota, I mean, even if he was alive, I don't think they would have been starting him for starters. He was always a big part player. And to say, okay, we are losing games 20, they lost 20 games in the league, which apparently is also what's his name? Diogo Jota's number. So I mean,
20.
yeah,
I
20.
think I think
So
I think I think I think they lost 12 games in the league. I think it was 12. It was actually 12 to be fair.
was it 12?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
12.
it was 12. It was 12. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, but to say it's because we're grieving, I mean, even Jordan's family might have moved on earlier than the team.
Anyway, let's move on. I want to quickly wrap this up now. I think we have to go. We have to very fast. And let's go to Chelsea. Chelsea. What is your season? I'm giving you. I think you guys have had a bad season. It's not shocking for me. I just think it's a bad season for
It was
Chelsea.
bad. It was a bad season. It was a bad season. The fact that we won the Club World Cup, the fact that we're we're champions for 4 years, that should have been the springboard to buying new players, buying
Yeah.
much better players, everything else. But the fact that you sign Liam Delap, Garnacho, and
Those guys were rubbish.
yeah,
They
those
were
two
rubbish.
players, you buy a centre, you buy like João Pedro, which was a masterstroke, right? He has been the best of the worst of our new players this season. And the fact that we signed João Pedro, the fact that we had Enzo Maresca, the fact that we beat Liverpool, the fact that we took Arsenal nearly there for beating Arsenal, the fact that we bottled it against Manchester United, right? Tottenham we beat convincingly. It should have been 5. But the fact that Enzo Maresca had illegal conversations with Manchester City, you knew that once that moment happened, you knew where that season was going to go. And I'm not talking about the injuries. The fact that you sack Enzo Maresca and you bring in Liam Rossigna and you demolish a club within a club, considering you own that club, is absolutely disgraceful. That's like saying, "Oh, we'll sack Mikel Arteta, and we'll get Rob Edwards." You destroyed all that hard work. You destroy all that hard work just to get him in, right? All that hard work, the foundation blocks. We were in 4th when Rossigna came to the club. We were then in 7th. Callum McFarlane had to pick up the pieces, and fair play to him, but no. FA Cup final, I think that was the best performance we had. And Liverpool. Those two were the two best performances I've seen out of my club. But you know what? Bun all that. The fact that we got Xabi Alonso coming in 1 month time, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Shut up. You guys still had a bad season, bro. Shut up.
No, the fact that we got Xabi Alonso, the fact that we could rebuild, the fact that we are going to look forward to this season. And look, if we're going to close off on the Premier League altogether, what a fantastic season we're going to have. Idoni Iola at Liverpool, De Zerbi at Spurs, Carrick at Man United, Arteta at Arsenal, Xabi Alonso at Chelsea. This season is going to be the most unpredictable season. I'm here for it.
Honestly, with Arteta looking like the only most experienced manager that we have amongst all of them, from the beginning to the end.
If you had Arne Slot and Arteta, those two would be the most experienced of the Premier League bunch.
Yeah.
3 years for Slot, nearly 7 years, 8 years with Arteta?
Yeah. Let's take City and Arsenal together. I think Arsenal has had a good season. I think City has had a good season, but I think that's just it. Let me just get that. City is a good season. For Arsenal, it's a good season. What do you guys think about the two? City, or you feel is anything less for City?
I say it's mixed for both. I think Arsenal, 2 cup finals, the big one, and the fact that you won the league, that has been the greatest season you could have ever had. If you won the Champions League and the Carabao Cup, that would have been
a record. It's history. That would have been history.
It would have eclipsed what Wenger did. Absolutely. The fact that he never won the Carabao Cup and Arteta could have. The fact that he never won the Champions League and could have. That would have been the greatest season you could have had. Manchester City has been a good season, but the word I'm going to use is inconsistent. Inconsistent. It's the same like every time Man City play after January, they go on a mad thing. But they've been so inconsistent. Players have been injured. Players were leaving. The fact that Enzo Maresca was lurking. The fact that Pep Guardiola was lurking about whether he should leave. The fact that he won 2 cups. It's been a good season, but inconsistent. They should have gone to the final day with you lot. They should have beaten Bournemouth and took it to the final day. But hey,
they should have. Did you watch the game against Bournemouth? They didn't deserve to even draw that game. They should have you should have even considered more goals in that match, because Bournemouth were miles better than them. Like, you see the way, because you see even after City made those substitutions, they got worse, and their performance didn't even change even after making those substitutions.
Yeah.
Because when I looked at that Bournemouth and City game, that was similar to the game that Arsenal played against Bournemouth back in April that Arsenal lost. There were similar parallels in terms of the match.
For me, I think it's kudos to Bournemouth anyway. I think Bournemouth was a very good team and nobody was beating them.
Yeah.
Both that team was good. Was sound enough to have gotten that point. So I don't blame any of the two teams. I think that team, Bournemouth, were good.
Yeah. I think even with Arsenal, I think when I look at the season we've had, obviously I probably feel it's been a very good season. Won the Premier League, got on far in Europe. Carabao, I wouldn't have minded winning. But when people be like, we've never won a Carabao Cup, like, that's where I know, like, people don't know, obviously, Arsenal's history. Because if you look at Arsenal's history, Arsenal won the Carabao Cup before Wenger days. And the last time Arsenal won it was in 1993. This was under, like, the so-called manager that didn't play attractive football when he was managing Arsenal before he now got sacked because he fell out with the Arsenal board and for non-footballing reasons. George Graham. If you've heard of 1-0 to the Arsenal you know about George Graham, that Arsenal used to not play attractive football. So when people act like, oh, Arsenal boring, I'm thinking, check your research and know that before Wenger came to Arsenal weren't playing good football. It was an Englishman playing defensive, etc.
Mate, George Graham did a Sol Campbell before Sol Campbell. He goes from Arsenal to Spain. He did a Sol Campbell before Sol Campbell, and nobody talks about that.
Yeah. And nobody's saying anything about it.
But people don't understand. He actually got sacked by Arsenal for non-footballing reasons, which obviously the reason it was non-footballing reasons, and obviously he fell out with the Arsenal board.
All right, let's wrap up. Retired Pundit, what's your take? City and Man City, final take, so we can round this up.
Pretty much what Chelsea lads said. I mean, inconsistent for Man City, and then, in my opinion, Arsenal had an excellent season. I mean, they crossed the line finally, which is what's important, especially for the Premier League. And if you ask me, and when I look at all the Arsenal fan channels, they were all in on the Premier League. Everything else was a bonus to them. So using that as a parameter, I think Arsenal had a great season. Yes, they lost in the Carabao Cup final in the Champions League, but to them, those were, the icing on the cake, but they had their cake for sure.
All right, thank you everybody for being on the show today. Thank you, Big Type on Day. Thank you, Big Rook. Thank you, Patrick. I know you cooked me enough. I called their Caps to come and do his cooking now. He didn't show up. Maybe I'll try to turn up on KG show so he can do his cooking too. He has tried to call me. I've been busy and I've not been able to pick his call, so it doesn't look like I'm dodging my cooking. I'm always available for my cooking. So big up.
Mate, your cooking is deserved, but I can't really have a go at you because you're Premier League champions. I can only cook you for the Champions League. That's it.
Thank you everybody for being on the show today.
The thing is, like, I've seen like Chelsea fans and a lot of people still cooking Arsenal, despite the fact that Arsenal won the league. I'm thinking, oh, the league title doesn't take away from like we can still chat to you because you've not won anything in Europe. But people are not. It's almost like people are forgetting about the Premier League.
No,
the fact that Arsenal won.
No, it is not. With me, with Chelsea fans, yes, it's the Premier League, but the fact that we're still the only team with the European Cup, the only London team, right? The fact that we're the only London team to do it, that's why we cook you. That's it. That's what I'm cooking you for.
Yeah. So why?
That's why I said you can have the Premier League. I could have tossed you one behind us anyway. But the fact that we have 2 Champions Leagues, I need to keep that reputation. If we lost that,
guys, I have to go, guys. I'm very sorry. Thank you so much, guys.
One more thing. The one thing is, like, when Chelsea fans want to now talk about Europe, only bring up Champions League. Don't bring up Conference League because I don't count Conference League because if you're in a league club, you only talk about the top tier competitions. Not like third tier.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Big up everybody for watching. Don't forget to smash the like on the video, subscribe. I have to go now, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, and I'm out.